How's it going, Titans fans? Welcome to my episode 2 review. Now, this episode was very good. Now, I know some people do not like this show. Some people are saying that episode 1 wasn't that great, but personally, I honestly felt like episode 1 was good, and episode 2 honestly really built upon it, and if not, was better. I just felt like overall, it was a very solid episode. The cinematography in it was fantastic, especially those action shots. We even got Alfred, but a little bit more on that later. No Starfire and Beast Boy, but that's okay because we're going to visit them more in the next episode titled Origins. With this episode being Hawk and Dove, obviously it was a lot about their characters, and I feel like Hawk and Dove just bring a lot of fun to this show and this kind of gritty, close attempt at like a lifelike vigilante life. Now, the beginning of this episode started off very strong. Obviously, we had Hawk chained up because he was trying to stop these guys, these criminals who were delivering guns or whatever, but that is when Dove came in and she absolutely slayed. And now this is what I mean by those action shots. They were just incredible throughout this episode. Now, Hawk and Dove in this iteration have been at it for a while. Hawk is very loose-tempered but ultimately good, and you get to see like the toll like vigilantism has taken on his body because there was this scene when he was in the bath and that he was taking a load of painkillers, and it really did show his struggles with like drinking and like the pills, and just because of like concussions and herniated discs. Now, I'm sure you guys got this as well, but I love how Dove was wearing a Superman shirt. Now, obviously, since she's the more calm one, maybe she's like looking up to Superman and Superman's like a role model for her. I mean, I'm sure it is just like a little Easter eggy thing, but you never know, that could be a thing. Now, one thing I love about the Hawk and Dove characters, and just like the comic books, is that they do kind of balance each other out. In this iteration, they obviously don't have superpowers, but in the comics, Hawk is the more hot-headed one, which, as I've mentioned a couple of times, they do keep very consistent throughout the episode, like with how Dove is very passive and understanding, and how Hawk is almost very instantaneously hot to the touch. I know it sounds like I'm emphasizing that a lot on Hawk, but he is like a cool guy at the bottom. I mean, you know, there's that sweet scene where it's like they're 3.5 years or something. So bottom line there, Dove definitely does really keep Hawk's temper in check, but you know, as I said, he is really cool at his core. He is a nice guy. He definitely does things for the good cause. Like in this episode, he's more or less obsessed with stopping these criminals who are like delivering guns and stuff like that. There was this really cool 4-year flashback scene where we saw yet another amazing cinematic kind of fight scene where Robin just jumped down after Hawk and Dove were already fighting these guys, and she even refers to them when they're together as essentially unstoppable, and that is quite a power trio there. But we also did actually get a photo just after this scene of, you know, Hawk, Dove, Robin, and I believe who is Donna Troy, aka Wonder Girl, because I believe in that photo that was Connor Leslie who was cast as Donna Troy, so that was a pretty cool moment there if you already knew that information. In that 4-year flashback fight scene as well, we did get a cool little Batman drop from Hawk. Dick Grayson was then just like, oh, he doesn't know I'm here kind of thing. So, you know, in this version, Batman is anyway quite the guy who doesn't always get along with other people and is very kind of brutish and aggressive, especially in this version. He kills, and I think it is more in a Batman versus Superman version. I don't think he'll go around snapping people's neck, because why wouldn't he? If he kills in this version, why wouldn't he have done that to the Joker already? Because the Joker Easter egg in episode 1 insinuates that the Joker's life. So therefore, I do think it is just more of a, oh, if I'm in my Batmobile and you're chasing after me and your car blows up, then, you know, whatever. Or he just beats people so badly to the point where they do die in a hospital or something. But essentially, what I gathered from the whole Hawk thing in terms of how he said, I thought he was supposed to stay away from us. I guess they just don't get along. Now, as for Robin and Raven's friendship in this episode, it only made me more happy with how this is playing out, or, you know, should I say how Dick is looking after her. But we do have a few bumps in this episode, since the person Dick Grayson has become isn't always the person he's letting off. For example, in this episode, he puts things in place to look after Raven, but he ultimately doesn't want to look after her because he, as he puts it himself, he doesn't do too well with family. And we even got hints of how he left Dove quite a few years ago, and that is made very, very apparent with comments throughout the episode, even from Hawk, and how he just takes what he wants and then just goes. I think this isn't necessarily about, you know, who Robin has become because of Batman. This is kind of like a family thing, and, you know, because obviously he lost his parents. I think it's more that side of things rather than what Bruce has made him. But just the little things, like I think when they're in that hotel room where Raven was eating sweets and, you know, watching Game of Thrones, and Dick was just like, should you even be watching that? I'm figuring that they're kind of similar to each other, or like they draw parallels, like, you know, young Raven here to when Robin or Dick Grayson was younger, which we will be seeing soon, because in the trailer we did see some actual Robin or Dick Grayson flashbacks. I'm not thinking we're going to see actual Bruce interact with him like the way we did Dick Grayson to Raven in that hotel room, but I still think we'll see similarities there. Now, I really hope we see more of this, and I think a lot of fans do, but we did get to see a little bit more of the gadgety side to Dick Grayson with those Wayne Tech computers, and Dove even referred to it as like the famous bird computer. And this gave us a few more Bruce Wayne references, because Raven went on the computer as well and even like searched up Dick Grayson and found out that Bruce took him in, the billionaire Bruce Wayne. Now, this leads me to talk about Alfred in the episode, which I'm really happy in the way they kind of did it. You could definitely make out that posh butler voice, more like better sometimes than other times. Now, obviously, Batman and Robin aren't on talking terms, but Alfred is like an all-round Bat family favorite. So Robin asks him to do a solid by getting him some money in this episode, which I highly believe he's doing behind Bruce's back. Because of the situation between, you know, Dick and Bruce, I don't think Bruce would appreciate that one bit, and I think Alfred knows that. But obviously, Alfred, just like how he feels like a fatherly figure to Bruce, having Dick Grayson in the Batcave in Wayne Manor all those years when he's growing up, I'm pretty sure that Alfred would have got quite close to him in this iteration as well. So, you know, it's kind of that like helping hand thing behind Bruce's back. But what I ultimately love about this is that it's like giving us that Bat family connection, or, you know, just the Bruce Batman connection, without forcing it down our throats. I mean, they're obviously not going to do that anyway, because I don't think they're allowed to show all of that too much, but the way they're doing it is still enough to give me, you know, a satisfied feeling. I'm sure you spotted this as well, but there are plenty of, like, I guess you would call Easter eggy, you know, contacts in Dick Grayson's contacts list on his phone, like Lucius Fox, Donna Troy, of course, you know, Alfred and, you know, Bruce, but lots of other known people as well. Now, the money that Alfred gives to Dick in this episode is just more, you know, it proved to the point that Robin, to even like Hawk and other people, does quite literally just F off. And I'm sure, like, obviously this whole season is about not only the Titans, you know, characters becoming who they are in terms of the Titans characters we know and love, whether it's in the animations or the comics, but Dick Grayson's, you know, journey to accepting a family and a team rather than running away all of the time. We also learned what Raven did to that guy in the previous episode when she like jumped inside of his body with that dark demony kind of stuff. She literally like obliterated, like justified all of his organs, which is insane, and even left like a Raven imprinty tattoo on the back, which is really cool. But this allowed Dick Grayson's partner from the comics to kind of expand her story a little bit, because she was looking into that, and that's going to be kind of her catching the trail onto, I'm sure, finding out. I don't know if it'll be at the end of the season if she'll find out that Dick is actually, you know, Robin / Nightwing, because that would be really cool if they drop that, but I don't know if that would be a bit too early. But she's already getting insanely involved because she got a visit from the nuclear family, and they were literally interrogating the poor woman as to where Dick Grayson's whereabouts are. So you would have to think that she's probably thinking, what the heck, you know, why are people beating me and stabbing me to find out where this guy, you know, is. You know, there's got to be more to this. So I'm looking forward to her journey throughout the season quite a lot after this moment in particular. Now, this leads me to talk about the nuclear family, who are essentially like the villains of this season, but under Trigon, who's going to be the big overarching villain. Now, the nuclear family in the comics are quite literally robots, and in this episode, they were quite creepy. And there was this post from DCComics.com, which, you know, they insinuated, like, are they robots? Well, we can't be sure of that. So I'm wondering if in this iteration, they are going to make him potentially like half humany, roboty, or like controlled kind of experiments rather than just pure android. That would be a lot more interesting. They injected themselves, so that was going throughout their body, and I believe that is to make him a bit more stronger, or to just get them more wired, so to speak. But ultimately, in the words of the episode, they were activated, which does, you know, seem very roboty, and they were sent after Raven. Now, just before we talk about all of that, I loved Hawk, Robin, and Raven and Dove together. Just for example, like when, you know, Dove being Dove, a lovely, lovely, nice lady as it seems, was taking Raven out, spending some time with her. I appreciated the little drops that they kept adding throughout the episode, like, you know, thanks Khaleesi to Dove, because obviously her hair. Now back to Hawk and Dove's storyline this episode. Obviously, Hawk really wanted to see this last mission through, that, you know, he was going after the guys at the beginning, and they really needed Robin's help, but obviously what we know is that he doesn't want to go out there because of what he's become, but this is what they want to do before they essentially retire from vigilantism. But that leads to Hawk and Dove going through with their mission, but a very predictable kind of way. It goes south, and Robin comes in to save the day, but this only proves Dick's point of how he doesn't like what he's become. And this fight scene, as I mentioned at the beginning, was once again cinematically really, really cool. I just love that scene and that shot where like Robin stood up, you know, his back faced to the guy, and it just made me think, man, imagine what Batman would look like in this and how freaking insane he would be. I mean, look at Robin, he's scary with what he does. I mean, in this fight scene, he threw his freaking like rubberangs into a guy's eye. That guy who wanted to chop Hawk's bits off kind of almost got it like himself. Robin was brutal, and that came across very apparently. I know some people aren't digging his violence. I think it's fine. I know some people are saying it's not like Robin's character or Dick Grayson. It's more of like Dick Todd, if you will. I know what you mean there, but that doesn't mean that by the end of this season he won't be more like Dick Grayson. And like the fact that this character, and in this iteration, has been made something else temporarily through how brutal Batman has been. It's not just essentially Dick Grayson, Red Hood coming back, screw you Batman, constantly. There is a little bit more to it than that, at least from where I'm understanding it. So now we're near the end of the episode, and this is where Raven finds that letter that freaking Robin left for her to with the cash and stuff. But obviously, apparently this was left to Hawk, and he was not happy about this at all. He was just like, you're gonna pay us and stuff like that. I do kind of, you know, Hawk is very hot-tempered, but I do completely get where they were coming from. I mean, as much as you may love Dick Grayson in this show, he is actually being a bit of a dick like that. And naturally, Raven was really hurt by this because she was trusting this guy who said, I'm gonna look after you, and then disappear. And even in that moment, like, she can read people and tell when they're lying, and he was lying right there and then. He was like, I was going to come back for you. And then she did the little demony thing, touched him, was like, nope, you're still lying, you bastard. So yeah, like, screw you, Dick, man. And this is when the nuclear family came and absolutely effed everyone up. This was like a really cool moment. Obviously, Rachel got taken, / Raven, whatever bloody way I'm going to say it. And yeah, Dove got sent absolutely flying. Now, I knew this was going to come, because in the trailer you saw that happen, and then you saw Hawk get bashed unconscious by the nuclear family. And then, like, essentially we had that moment at the end where we saw Dove basically dying. Now, we didn't actually see her die, and even on the subtitles she did say, like, I'm dying, and I was feeling like, no way, no, this is typical in a sense that they were just about to leave, and then it was almost predictable that it was going to go wrong. They made you kind of feel secure in the sense that Robin saved that mission and it was going to be okay, but we all knew the nuclear family was still coming. Now, the question is Dove going to die? I think that she isn't. I could be wrong here. They could do something serious like that and get another Dove on board, but also at the same time, this series isn't about Hawk and Dove. But I got a feeling that maybe Minka Kelly's Dove might be saved just in time. We did see Robin giving her CPR. I mean, we didn't get confirmation, otherwise she would have literally just freaking died, you know, but she didn't. So she might be hospitalized, she might be absolutely battered, she might have a serious injury. We won't know till we know, but I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comments below there. But anyway, everyone, that was a lot to talk about. I feel like I could have said so much more. There was stuff that I even missed out on talking about, but you know, there's so much happened. It was a great episode. I think that it was better than episode 1. Now, what some critics are saying is that the season gets even better, like compared to the beginning, towards the end. That's when it's good. So if I'm thinking that this is good now, and other people who have seen it saying it's, you know, not so great at the beginning but better at the end, then bloody hell, like, I think that's going to be incredible, because I felt like this episode improved upon episode 1. Naturally, I don't mind that Beast Boy wasn't in it, or Starfire, because this was like its own separate thing. It gave us something else, like Hawk and Dove, more expansion upon Dick Grayson and Rachel Roth. So yeah, I thought it was great. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, guys. Like this video if you did enjoy it, and subscribe if you're brand new. But yeah, that's the video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.